Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Mia and I run Sticky Kitten Crafts. Today we're going to be doing a video that I've been waiting to film for a really long time. So back in September we bought our first house, and then between September and November we were really just working on the house in any free time we had, nights, weekends, any days off we had, we were over here working so that we can move in towards the beginning of November. After moving in, most of our house was still not done yet. We kind of have a split level, so the basement was done, but the upper two floors were not. So we really had to do a lot of work also between November and now, which it's about May, to finish off the rest of the house. So I was doing a lot of painting and didn't have a lot of my craft stuff in the house because we just didn't have room. So I had all my stuff in storage since actually before we decided to move. We lived in a townhouse previously that was really small, so everything's been in storage for a really long time. And when we moved, I put even more of my stuff in my storage unit because everything that was like in my house that I knew I wouldn't have room for here went into storage. So basically everything's been put away for a really long time, but we finally got floors a couple of weeks ago and I finally started to settle into my craft room. I painted it a while ago and we finally got some storage up, so I can now finally get all of my things out, reorganize everything, and then see what we have. So this is gonna be a fun video because we're gonna be basically unboxing all of the stuff I have. Now, I will say I have been in my craft room for a little bit now, and I did start on some other projects, so I have a bunch of things to put away, but then we'll get moving along and I'll show you what we're working with right now. Okay, so don't mind the mess. I did have to do a project for our house yesterday, so I'm gonna clean up all of this and then clean off my desk. And I'll put some of this away, but I do need to unpack this box a little more because I have a ton of different types of crafts that have lived in this box. And over here, I have cubes that have a bunch of my works in progress. So we'll probably look through all of those and just make sure that it still makes sense that they are in there. I have a ton of paint here from my project yesterday. And then this is my current closet setup. I haven't put a ton in here yet. I did not want to yet, but I have a lot of my sewing stuff here. I have my like blocks for blocking projects here. And then these are some of my sewing patterns. I actually got a little box to store these in, so I just have to open that, but that's what we're working with over here. And then over here, I have a really nice built-in desk, and I really want this to be a cute space. So I want to have all of my crochet books there. I want to have a couple of my machines there, but we'll see what else we use. I'll use those drawers for storage as well, but just need to kind of like get everything out, make sure I have all of the stuff together that needs to go together, and we'll go from there. And then that bin is just more, I have a couple of like things of yarn. That's all trash. And then, like I said, I have like a pattern I was printing out. So if we go over to my other room, I started staging a bunch of my craft stuff over here. So I had some yarn here, more yarn here. A couple of these bags are like finished projects. A couple of these are like not for my craft room, these like boxes, but I need to go through them and just see. But I think a couple of these have like some random things in there, but it's not fully for my craft room. And in my old room, I had this storage tower thing. I'm gonna see if I want to use that again. And then in my garage, I have way more stuff, all the stuff that came from my storage unit. So I'm gonna go clean up my craft room a bit, clean up my living room because we just hung our TV, and then I think I'm gonna bring everything into my living room and just see where that goes. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, I moved everything out into my living room. I have one more bag here. I think this was mostly for my dining room. There shouldn't be too much in there. I do see a paint tray, but that's fine. I'll get that later. This is a bunch of like miscellaneous stuff that doesn't need to go in my craft room, and I might get rid of some of that. And then it's everything else. And then if we go over here, I cleaned out the yarn that was in here. That was for a project, but not one I'm currently working on. I actually finished it up, so brought that out. I'm gonna probably leave my sewing stuff right where it is, and then I'll have these other 3 shelves to do as I please with. And then over here, still need to decide like what I want to move. That box up there, that Amazon box, is some manila envelopes, so I might need to find like a better storage place for those, but I bought those so I could put my sewing patterns into there. And then I will need to hang this up, and it looks like I have a few empty pegs, so I'll probably need to add some stuff in there eventually. But this other stuff is just some work in progress things that I'll slot in wherever I can find it. And then I'll need to find a place for this, but I think I can probably just slide it in over here in this. There's like a decent space here. So then lastly here, I think I want to keep this as like my work in progress section, and hopefully just like work through a bunch of these things and then I can replenish. So we'll see. I need to reorganize this a little bit and then try to get some of this out of there, but that's what we're working with here. Up here is going to be my yarn wall, and over here is going to be a gallery wall. So as I go through my stuff, I'll see if I have any wall hangings that I made that I want to put up here. Okay, now I will show you what we're working with upstairs, so in my living room. So again, I brought all of my crafting supplies into my living room. I'm going to just kind of like put everything together that goes together. I already started doing that as I was bringing it up here, and then figure out where it all needs to go. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you guys. There's a lot of stuff going on, but we will get it all put together and figure out where it all should go. Okay, so this is what we are working with. We have a lot going on, but like I said, I kind of sorted it out, so we'll be able to kind of work in chunks here. But this is like my old market bag. I need to go through that. This has a lot of like just small things. It also has a lot of my like supplies to ship things out, so that I'll probably move elsewhere. Back here, this pile is most of my like finished plushies, but I have some other ones over there that need to go in there, so just trying to consolidate all of that. Over here is a lot of my random crafting stuff. So I have a lot of paper that I use to make cards. I also have some macrame stuff, which like this is the only box of it I have. So I'm gonna have some ribbon, which I need to figure out what to do with. So that's all of that. I have 2 bags of the polyfill. I'll need to find places for that. This is my sewing box, but I did just throw in a bunch of random yarns that will need to be put elsewhere. But this is most of my like sewing notions. These boxes are somewhat random, so this is going to be kind of like the random area. This is most of my crochet stuff, like googly eyes, all that kind of thing. Then I tried to sort things out here where like this section is mostly like in progress projects. This is all new yarn in like those 2 bags, all of that. Then over here is all of my painting and drawing stuff, so I'll need to find places for that. Then these were just some like work in progress things that I need to put away as well. Same with this. This is like the projects I'm actively working on, so I have a lot to do. Okay, as you can see, our house is still very much a construction zone. There's a lot of things going on, but we are going to try to at least get things settled with my craft room, because I have a lot of things and they've all been kind of around the house, so it'll be nice to just get everything all put together. So I'm gonna go through this box really quick, and then I'll show you kind of like the breakdown of what we have, and then I'll figure out hopefully like what I want to do with it. I have a ton of paints, and I feel like I buy new paintbrushes like literally all the time because I never know where they are. So going to like get myself all resettled and then I'll come back. Okay, so in that first box, I have beads to make friendship bracelets. This was from the Eras Tour. I have some oil pastels. These are all of my gems that I got for when I was going to the Eras Tours. I have tons of these little like heat press gems. These are my watercolors. I had this tray and all of the colors like completely fell out of it, so I think I'm probably just gonna dump this, and then whenever I decide to do watercolors again, I have the value pack of color here and I'll just redo it. This is like a fabric ink. I have some acrylic paints. I have way more acrylic paints in these bags that I need to go through. I have all of my paintbrushes that I found so far. I have a little gardening set that I found. I have some gesso. This is all of my like sketchbooks and those kinds of tools. I have some pens. I have some fabric paint. And then I also found these little buttons. I have no idea what I use these for or where they came from. And then I have a couple of these little glass containers that I use for my paintings. So that's what we have so far. I'm gonna go work my way through these bags, and this, I know this has like some things like Mod Podge and stuff, which I also see in there, so just gonna get everything of that nature all together and then we'll decide what we want to do with it. So I got everything cleared out of the little stackable bins and I'm kind of reorganizing all of that stuff. I also believe I've now found like all of my paint and things, so I have this box that has all of my acrylic paints in it. I am trying to decide if I either want to like keep it in this box for now, or I found an organizer for about 80 of these kinds of bottles. I have 60 almost, or 52 I counted, so I might get one of those, and then that way it's like more nicely organized in my closet. I don't have too many big bottles, so I don't think that will be a problem, and I don't really plan on getting a ton more paint anytime soon, so that's fine. So I think I might order that little rack, and then I'll wait to put this in my craft room until that comes probably, but at least for now this is all of the actual paint. Then I'm going to need to decide what I want to do. I think these ones that are in the packages, I'll probably just leave them as such. That way I know what they are. So I have all of these paintbrushes. I have all of these, plus this little roll. So I think I will, maybe I'll try to put all of these in here. We'll see. Oh my god, this is not going well. Okay, I got most of them in there. I have a few others. I think I'll just put these kind of in the middle and then roll them in. But now we have all of them together. Okay, so I have this, we have a couple of extra tools and these things, so these will just go in my paint box. And I'll figure out what to do with those tomorrow. I think I might have one of these trays for all of my like glue. I have a ton of glue and Mod Podge, so I think I'll probably put a bunch of that stuff in one of those. I'll have another one for like beads and all of my sequins, and then another one for kind of like office supply type things. But I think now that I've cleared all the paint stuff out and we'll have a different space for that, I'll have a little bit more room. So I think that's what I'll do. Okay, So I finished up all of this. I think this top this top box still needs a little bit of help, but I think this might go into my built-in desk. This is all of my like pens and Cricut pens and things like that, so I think this will likely move and be something else. But this is a mostly empty drawer. Again, just a couple of things that I need to find alternative places for, but again, might go into my built-in desk up there, so that stuff. This is a this bin is a little bit of random stuff, but it's kind of things that don't go with other things. Like I have some pipe cleaners in here, I have some fabric paint, I have glitter, like things that just I don't have a lot of. So this is kind of my catch-all bin. This is my sticking things together bin, I call it. You can't see it that well, but I have all of my like Mod Podge, I have my tape, I have my hot glue gun, I have my stapler, extra staples, this is all that kind of stuff. And then down here are all of my beads and sequins. And down here is all of my supplies to pack and send orders. So I have a couple of cards, I have some like mailers, things like that. So that is what we're working with here. I'm super happy because now that I got all of this stuff kind of put away, I have this extra bin that I can use, and then I'll put away all my paint stuff on the shelves once the like paint holder comes tomorrow, but we're moving along. So next we will get to some of our yarn. I need to decide what I want to focus on first. I think I might unpack basically all of this that was towards the front wall. And then I think later on I'll focus on like my plushies that I've already previously made. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, now we are gonna unpack all of my yarn that is not a part of a work in progress. So I will be doing a little time lapse and showing you. I think I'll start with all of my Bernat blanket yarn, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've made a little bit of progress. I think I've gotten most of my Bernat blanket yarn out, so you can see all of it on the couch here. I got a lot of this when Joann's was going out of business, and so a lot of it was on clearance. A lot of them you can see they're still like in little plastic sleeves, but I have a lot of that. I have a little bit of acrylic down here that I'll need to fit onto my yarn wall probably. I found some fur yarn, as well as some like other random yarns that I had gotten on clearance at Hobby Lobby that I had been using for chickens, but maybe I'll use this for something else. I'm not entirely sure, but that was this. Over here, I have this bag is full of cotton yarn. I think I'm just going to keep this one as is. Same thing with this bag right here. It's full of Sweet Snuggles Light. I think I'll probably just keep that as is for now. I need to go through the rest of these bags and continue figuring out what's in all of these. I think a lot of it is like miscellaneous yarns, which I think I'm going to have a lot of, and I'm gonna need to figure out what I want to do with them. Honestly, for some of these, maybe I'll do like a giveaway post on like Facebook Marketplace or something. I don't know, but that's where we're at. So still have a bunch of stuff, but I'll hopefully, and then I need to decide what I want to do with all of this blanket yarn. I think I want to try to put it on those shelves, but we'll see. So let me continue on, and then we'll see how much miscellaneous stuff we have. Okay, so I made some good progress. I got all of the Bernat blanket yarn put away. I still have a bunch of acrylic yarn down here, some other like miscellaneous yarns around here. And these couple of bags, all of that is my plushies that I know what they are, but just need to go back through them. Then over here, I have a couple of things. This basket is some miscellaneous yarn that I need to go through, but I think I might try to do a little project where I like use up a lot of that parfait chunky because I don't really use it. I have my full bag of cotton yarn. This will probably just go in the closet. This is a mixed bag of yarn right here. I need to get that one like cleaned up a little bit more, but kind of similar thing. A lot of these were for very specific projects, so I'll probably want to just like get those done. This bag right here is a lot of yarn for hats, and I'm not really in the hat making mood right now, so this one might go in like my garage for a little while or something. I have this bag of yarn, which I bought to also make some little hats, but honestly, I might just try to knock it out and make all of these into hats so I can be rid of it. Then we get over here. This, let me turn it around. So this is a lot of my works in progress. Like this is a bin full of like random stuff. This has some random stuff. That has like a couple of work in progress projects in there. This bag is full of works in progress. These are all works in progress. And same thing with these. So I'm gonna have to put those somewhere, but I think I'm gonna try to work through a bunch of them. So we'll see. That will probably be a future video where I'll go through all of these and decide like what I want to do with them. But I need to find a spot for all of my paper stuff. Like this stuff is for my Cricut, and then I have this random box of like macrame as well. This is my sewing stuff that I have a place for. This I also can make a place for. So I'll probably try to put some of this stuff away. And then those 2 bags of polyfill, I don't know where they'll go right now, so have to figure that out. But this is what we are working with. So I put all of my burnout blanket yarn in the cubes. All of these are just kind of like half-used skeins that aren't in the like regular skein shape. So I have all of that, all my little half ones. Then I have all of my neutral colors there, some like blues and a lot of the variegated ones. And then this will be my sewing shelf. Down there, I put my Sweet Snuggles Light, as well as my burnout velvet. And then over in here is my little stand. This I might move out so that I can use that space to store other stuff, but we'll see. I don't want to make this closet too jam-packed, so I might need to use another closet. But up here, I was thinking I'll put my paints, and there was something else out there. Maybe that like macrame box or something I'll put up there, but this will be what all of that is. All of this change has tired my one cat out, and the other one is just going into every single bag being nosy. And then same thing with this one. She's very skittish. If she thinks she's in trouble, she just runs away. It's okay, you can look. All right, I think I will leave this video here. I think I'll probably do another video where I go through all of my works in progress, and I might also do a video where I walk through all of my miscellaneous yarn and try to come up with projects for it, because I want to get rid of a lot of this stuff that's just like random. I had it for one-off project and then never used it again, so that's what I think I'll do. But for now, I picked out my first set of yarn. I'm going to work through all of my Feels Like Bliss yarn. I have this little pile here. Feels pretty manageable to try and get through all of this. So I will work on whipping up some little plushies with this. And I'll also probably try to put away all of this stuff, likely just up in my spare room for now, because I don't have anything in there, so it doesn't matter. But I will see you all in the next one. Hopefully in that one we will get working through some works in progress. I might actually start the next video now as I'm working through these, so I will catch you all later.